What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Aisha, and this is where we talk about health from the tip of the head to the soles of the feet. I wanted to talk about healthy knowledge of what methods we can use to get a lock started. All right, y'all, stay tuned. Okay, so let me just start off by saying, ladies out there, if you are looking to get locks, I applaud you. Right? I think they are incredible in ways of saving time, saving stress, saving money on hair products, not necessarily on the retie, but that's okay. So if you're used to getting your hair done, or if you don't mind the investment, because trust me, it's more than just an investment in your hair, it's an investment in your sanity, okay? Then it's all good for you. But let me just quick tidbit on what reties are not. And I just heard this, okay? I was talking to someone, they're looking to get their hair locked, and they're so excited for it. They asked all these questions or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah. So micro lock and interlock, they're the same thing. And I was just like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just those little, those little locks in your hair, whatever. And I said, okay, let's break this down. Because let me tell you right now, micro lock and interlock are not the same thing. They're not even in the same area. They're not even in the same category, okay? So micro lock is a type of lock. Interlock is how you maintain the lock, how you start the lock, how you retighten the lock. Does that make sense? So you have traditional locks, which is like thicker locks, they're bigger. I don't want to say Bob Marley, right? But think that, I'll put a picture up, boom. Think this, okay? And then you have sister locks, which sister locks, the only difference between really micro locks and sister locks is sister locks is trademarked and it's most popular because you hear it all the time and you see it everywhere. That's it. That's really the biggest difference. But with sister locks, usually they're smaller and they are defined grid. Like it is very, very, very precise. And then micro locks can be a lot of different things, but let's just talk about micro locks, how we get them started and how you start the locking process of micro locks, okay? So with those, there are 3 different methods that you could use with micro locks depending on the size. Now keep in mind that micro locks, they're not a definite amount of locks. They're not in a definite range. It's just smaller than regular traditional locks. That's it, y'all. That is it. So I've seen people with micro locks have 102 locks. I've seen people with micro locks have 600. So there really is a vast range of how big your locks can be and how many you can have on your head. So let's talk about the different kind of methods to get started. Now first I'll talk about me, right? When I got my hair locked, I chose to have them a certain method because I work out, I sweat in my head, and my hair is super curly. So I knew, and this is from going to people, getting their opinion, and just knowing myself, my hair has a lot of slippage. Even when I would braid my own natural hair, even when I would twist it, they would slip out and I would have to redo them again. So I know getting locks that at first there was going to be a lot of slippage. So for me, the best method was a certain one. For others, it may be something different, but I will say that there are certain methods that will be better based upon the thickness or the size of your locks, okay? So my number one method is interlocking, basically, okay? So if you don't know what interlocking is, hopefully one day I'll get a video out there showing y'all how to interlock or what that looks like. But basically what you're doing is literally weaving your hair inside itself. And so you start from the bottom. Now I know a lot of people, which I think is interesting, they start like halfway through the hair. My loctician started at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, I still have curly ends, but if you can see, like it's down here. It ain't just hanging out, okay? And that's actually where she started. So starting from the bottom and going up, and you're basically taking the hair, putting it in, pulling it, pulling it in, pulling it, and you're going to different areas of the hair. So you can say, obviously it's in a circle, right? So if you just hold the hair right here, you would take the hair, you would push it through this, you would pull it back through. And then you would take the hair and you would go to the front side and pull it back through. You take the hair, you can go from the bottom and pull it back through. As long as you're hitting different points, right? Because if you go in the same one, you're just gonna have 2 separate hairs split down the middle, and you don't want that, okay? And so that is the interlocking method. Now again, I chose that because it holds that hair in tight. There will be no slippage. There would be no slippage for me because my hair was about shoulder length when I started them. Now if your hair is like this short, there still could be slippage just because the length of your hair, pretty much. But it gave me the best chances at keeping my locks versus having to redo them or retie them or blah blah blah, or keep them bonded up for a long time or bundled up for a long time. And what I mean by bundled, let me give you definitions of stuff I'm talking about. Basically what I do is this. I would twist a chunk of my hair. Well, that's pretty like we twisted it all down, okay? And then I would kind of twist it at the end, and then I would fold it out like this. Woo! So ain't nothing going nowhere, okay? And then I put a rubber band on it, and that's how I would wear it. That's how I would wash it. That's how I would sleep in it, okay? And that happened, I probably did that for the first year, roughly, until my loctician was like, okay, I think we can chill out for now. And I was like, cool. Because what I didn't want is my locks to be slipping when I paid all that money for them, right? And then most of all, I didn't want to have to get it redone. Like that was gonna be super annoying, y'all. Once you get it done once, you just done, okay? And so I got it interlocked. So if you have super curly hair, or you have a relaxer, or you're starting off super short, I would highly recommend getting interlocked. If you work out a lot, if you sweat, if you go swimming a lot, any of those things, moisture touches your hair, I would highly recommend interlocked. Second method, braid locks, okay? Totally not my favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why. Braid locks are very, very tight, but they also take a long time to actually look like locks versus fuzzy braids, okay? And so for me, braid locks was not an option. I was like, I'm not doing that. One, because of slippage, but two, also, I knew my loctician already told me, hey, it's gonna take your hair a long time to lock. So I was like, if it takes me even longer to lock because of the nature, the texture of my hair, then put it in a braid means that it's gonna be super fuzzy and super, you could still see my braid pattern years from now. And I did not want that. Like if I wanted super fuzzy braids, I would have did that a long time ago. I want locks. So I was like, that is completely out for me. Now some people, they love it because one, it keeps your hair stretched. That is a bonus. Interlocking does too. You will experience some shrinkage, like you can see my hair right now. So if you see my hair right now, how it sits, and this is my shrinkage. So it is not that significant, but it is there, okay? And with braid locks, and I say braid locks, really you're starting off with braids, and most of the time people will leave it kind of loose at the root so they can do the interlocking method within that, because eventually you have to come back to the interlocking method. But starting off with braids to provides, again, a little bit more length, and it helps the braid to keep versus another method, which we'll talk about in just a minute, okay? So we got interlocking, we got braid locks, and then we have the third, which is just twists. Now, I started my daughter's hair in twist. Her hair did perfectly fine. And we weren't even trying to do locking or doing any kind of locks. It just kind of happened and it worked. And because I already made her grid really nice, it was like perfect storm, and she loves them, right? But with twist, again, if you have super curly hair, you can do it with slippage. If you don't put your hair correctly at night, like again, twisting up or braiding up, again, more slippage, y'all. It's just so much slippage, okay? And also it recoils so fast, like that, oh my, like you think your hair gonna be like here and it'd be like this. It's almost like having your loose natural hair, but somewhat twisted, and then you got to keep that going. Again, at the roots, usually people interlock it just to keep at least that part together, so you can deal with a lot more slippage. So you got those three methods. You got interlocking, you got braid locks, and then you have those twists. All right, now this is not discourage you from doing any one of the three, but I thought to myself, hey, this woman who's been thinking about it for at least a year doesn't even know the difference between them, didn't even know the different methods, thought microlock, interlock was the same thing. But I wanted to tell y'all different because I want to educate you in understanding, okay, if I get these locks, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to look like. Now, disclaimer, I thought my locks were going to look totally different than what they look like today. Like, I just knew it. And my loctician kept telling me, honey, Everybody's locks look different. You can bring in all the pictures, all the videos, or whatever. Your hair is going to be different because your hair is your hair. So set your expectations now, but understand that no matter what it is, I have seen so many different textures just thrive and be beautiful, y'all. So whatever you do choose, whatever method you do choose, do what's right for you and make sure it feels good. All right, guys, see you next time.